And we are back with Wayne Chrebet number 80. And the schedule's out, folks. The schedule is out. And around these parts, New Jersey, New York, it's a tale of two schedules. I'm laughing because, Wayne, have you taken a look at the Giants schedule yet and compared to the Jets?
No, what did I miss? I've seen the Jets, obviously looked at that, but what did the Giants force or better?
It might not be as bad as I'm thinking it is, but we'll bring it up in a second. To me, it's just brutal. It's the worst schedule ever for a team that's not that good. But let's start with the Jets. Well, I'm going to bring it up here so everyone could check it out. And everyone watch it on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. Ask questions anytime. Free reign on this show, as always. We just kick around thoughts. But Jet schedule, I don't think it's too bad. I think it's pretty manageable for Aaron Glenn's first year.
Yeah, is it not as much of the night games and stuff like that? I was just looking through it,
Yeah.
but I forgot they're playing in London this year versus the Broncos.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. So that's sandwiched between two home games. So they did them well. So they got the Cowboys, and then they go to London, and then they got the Panthers at home. So that's pretty nice to have that sandwich in there.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Jets fans confirm this for me. The Broncos game technically is a home game. It's
Yeah,
17
it says.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you're seeing too?
Yeah. What's this? Yeah, it looks like it's a home game at 9:30 a.m.
In
here.
London. So
But
that's the unfortunate thing.
yeah,
It's the year for them to go play internationally, their home game. So they lose that home game, unfortunately.
yeah, but if they came back and had to go to like the West Coast or
That would suck.
vice versa, to have two home games kind of did us a favor. But let's talk about week one. What is the possibility of us playing Steelers led by Rodgers? Is that still a thing, or is he still
Ah,
holding them off?
I think it's going to happen. Truth be told, because they don't have a plan there. It doesn't feel like anything's materializing. Never say never with Tomlin. Tomlin, he's stubborn enough to go into the season with what he has. I mean, I'm sure you know that. But if I had to guess, I'd say it's going to happen. And Jake Asman, I was on his show. He kept saying Steelers primetime week one, Steelers primetime week one. I didn't think primetime would happen because that's a gamble. But I thought it would happen in the first few weeks. Turns out it
No,
was week one.
this is what he was going to do to us. Just like, oh, I'm not sure. I'll get you next week. I'll get you next week.
Yeah.
And guys from Pittsburgh are pissed about it. They're like, we don't. That's just Steelers don't do that. So I don't know. It's not the kind of team that wants to bring them in right before their training camp. But if they want to deal with that headache, they can. You know what I mean?
And Jets take care of business. Now here's the thing. Let's go through a week by week real quick. Start off at home, which is
Yeah.
nice. Week 2 home. Two
Yeah.
home games right off the bat. Listen, the opponents aren't, there's quality opponents. You got Pittsburgh, you got Buffalo. But back-to-back home games, as a former player, Wayne, how do you feel about starting at home? Is there any difference? Is there any more leg up in terms of getting off to a good start in the season? Because I feel like with football, especially, the schedule's so different for everyone. You could ride momentum early and play above your heads
Yeah.
in a way.
You don't want to go somewhere like up to Buffalo or at Baltimore or something like that to start. You want to start at home. Pittsburgh had some question marks. Obviously, Buffalo is what it is, but you like to get them at home now. But then after that, I guess 2 Florida trips in a row, which
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play there in September. I'd rather play there in December. You know what I mean?
Yes, I didn't think about that. That's a
So
good point.
it's gonna be hot there, and on the sideline, we're on the sun side, so it's like 20 degrees different from the shade on the home side.
Yes. I remember it was bad. I went to Miami a couple years ago for the Jets game, covering it, and I was sitting with my friend in the stands, and it was December, and it was
Yeah,
brutal in the sun versus the shade. But you
yeah,
know what? Yeah, like selfishly, you'd want to play the Miami games in December.
yeah,
But for a northern team, it might be better because they're used to the heat still.
yeah. Well,
You
that's
know?
so go at Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa's week 3, a
right?
day game. So the
And
first 3
then
games are all day, all
you
Sunday,
come home and you go back to Florida for Monday, and that's
Monday night.
the
Yep.
7:15 game. Yeah.
Oh, it's a doubleheader day. So it's the first of 2 Monday night games. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so that helps playing a little later at night. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's our first national game. But I don't know. What does Miami have to offer, and what about Tampa? What do they have to offer this year?
I mean, hey, we got playoff team, playoff team, playoff team. Miami was not, but they charged late. Dallas week 5 was not, but again, if they have their quarterback, if they have Parsons, you never know. They won what 10 or 11 games years ago.
Right.
Miami, it's a flip of a coin. With the AFC East teams, I kind of view it as a split immediately. Even Buffalo, because the Jets have played well against Buffalo early in the season.
Is that what your initial thought was? All right, let's split Miami, let's split both Bills, and let's split New England. Is that what we're happy with? I don't.
No, but it's like a starting point. We'll say that. We'll say
Yeah.
that it's a starting point.
Well, you can't go in there, conceding three losses already.
Come on.
Bye week is perfect.
Now, okay, now listen, we got to. I haven't seen the comments yet, but fans in the comments, don't you want to see a win-loss prediction from Wayne week by week? Shouldn't we do that?
Kind of hard at this point because I'm gonna say we're gonna win everyone. So I don't do that.
That's what I was setting it up for. Come on
I'm
now.
not conceding a win. I don't know, a loss, whatever.
Look
Makes
at
no
look at
sense
this
to
though.
do at
Look at
this
this.
point.
Back-to-back Florida. NFL's playing games. Back-to-back Florida. You're not going to stay down there. You're going to come back. The Florida trip is, it's like a commute in, it's not that long at all.
Yeah,
Airplane. And then you got Ohio, bye week Ohio. So back-to-back Florida, back-to-back Ohio.
yeah.
Yeah, but anything jump off the page? I mean, what do you think? Like, what's the general? Oh, also, here you go. Your buddy Glenn. Every team has the chance to take the bye after the London game. So apparently he did not take the
Really?
bye. Yeah. What do you think
Huh.
about that?
I think it's a good move. I'd rather have right in the middle of the season.
Which he does. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. I didn't know they had the choice, but yeah, week 9 is perfect. You kind of see where everything's kind of unfolding at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reassess where you need to be. So Cleveland, we don't know what they're going to be. New England, Baltimore. At Baltimore is tough.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Atlanta.
Falcons, I'm not sure about them. Yeah, you get Miami home, at Jacksonville, New Orleans. I mean, the last game's going to mean a lot, but out of the NFC games, we only play them so often. You got Atlanta, you got the Cowboys, you got the Saints,
Panthers.
Yeah.
So
So
we have the NFC South, and the 17th game is the Cowboys, which kind of is bad luck. It's the NFC East, whoever we matched up with in
right.
terms of third place in the division, and it happened to be the Cowboys.
Yeah. Well, those were not playing. What's that? The Central, whatever it was. Green Bay,
Green Bay. Yeah, that's the
Chicago,
Giants.
Minnesota.
Let's bring up the Giants schedule. I'm going to get your thoughts about this real quick. I know it's a Jets channel, but I, it looks brutal. And listen, I'm one to never go too crazy on the schedule in the spring because you never know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
By the time the season comes around. But
Yeah.
check this out. They're in the NFC East, which they have Philly, Washington, both got to the NFC title game. Dallas, missed the playoffs, but still not a bad team. And then they play the NFC North. So it's at Washington, at Dallas to start the season. Then home against the Chiefs.
So you got to pray you're getting one of those, which I don't think they will in those first two. And then third, come get your ass kicked at home. The first game versus the Chiefs.
Yeah, then okay, you want to get a little breather? Nope, Harbaugh and the Chargers at home.
I was gonna say at least they didn't send them back out to the West Coast.
True.
No, that's right, the Eagles twice.
Well, here's the breather: Saints at New Orleans.
Yeah, but then they have to go add to Denver.
Yeah,
There's a
well, yeah,
list of who has to travel the most, and whoever's number one is like tens of thousands, something crazy.
yeah, we
We,
did
we're
a
not we're not bad.
yeah, I think we're Jets are right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah,
At Denver, at Philly versus San Fran. Like this is supposed to be the cupcake game because San
at
Fran missed the
Chicago,
playoffs.
at Detroit,
If Green Bay and then New England Monday
yeah,
night. Okay.
and then the Vegas,
And Commanders, mini Vegas. So you got
Vegas,
okay. The teams on
Vegas.
their level are
Yeah.
Vegas, maybe Chicago, maybe, and the Saints. That's it.
Wow. What is it? It says strength of schedule.
Let me say, wait.
That can't be right. Oh, over under wins. So it's the hardest.
It's
Well,
the
no,
hardest.
based
Yeah,
on
it's
last
the
year.
hardest. You know why?
5.5 wins.
Yeah, that's brutal. You know why? Because their division turned out to be one of the best last year, and they're the worst team in the division. So
Yeah.
that's what usually screws you for the next year.
All right, go to the Jets thing. I want to see what they say as far as biggest takeaway. See how you see that on the screen for the
Oh, I got to
Giants.
find the ESPN one. Hold on.
I want to see what they say. They did have one of Taylor as one of the guys who's going to step in immediately, the tight end, and contribute. So they think very highly of that kid.
Shoot, I got to find the actual article. Probably Samini.
Michael P. said San Diego travels the most in the NFL this year.
Do they?
Yeah. And they're not fans of the Giants.
Okay, here we go. Here's the Jets. The great Rich Samini. Let's see what he had to say.
What our over under is 5.5?
5.5. Which I'm taking the over.
I'm taking the over. Man.
Listen, I see, and fans think I'm overdoing it a little bit right now, but I see a 500 team, right? With what I've seen from Glenn so far, I see 500.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but that's slow. Even in the projected draft for next year, they have us picking top 5.
Yeah,
I'm like that doesn't make sense to me.
It's the
better. We're under
media.
the radar because last 2 years, they were thinking double-digit wins, and we weren't even close to that. What's to say biggest takeaway?
When the buzz is good for the
Yeah.
Jets fan, they overdo it. When it's bad, they underdo it, and that's just media. Like it's the emotion of the Jets fan. They're rabid. They want something, so it's it's just the natural way of things.
Yeah.
Biggest takeaway for Rich Samini: a year ago, the NFL couldn't get enough of the Jets in prime time. This year, they're an afterthought. They have 2 dates, both divisional matchups, Dolphins and Pats, Thursday night.
One Thursday game is huge. Just having one of those is
that's true. And they also have the London game too, but that's a whole different beast. Yeah, his biggest takeaway was just the prime time, how different it is.
Received a league record 6 primetime games in the first 11 weeks of last year.
Yeah, it was insane.
Wow, that's a big difference too. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
on the team.
And Jets fans like their 1 o'clock on Sunday games.
Yeah,
and I'm
sure revenge, that's right. It's a revenge game for Justin Fields too. Besides being if Rodgers is there, I forgot. They kind of got rid of him, right? When Russell Wilson got there.
Yep. Well, the reports were that they tried to get him back, but I don't think it was a money thing. I think it was a runway thing. Like Fields saw the opportunity with the Jets.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. I didn't even think about it. Can Fields survive in September?
Mm-hmm. So much of the Jets season hinges on whether Fields can resurrect his career. He won't get any favors from the early schedule as he faces opponents notoriously tough on quarterbacks.
I don't think he's been a bust at all. I think he's having a good career for himself. It's not like he's trying to redeem himself from, he had a winning record there. He's got more touchdowns than interceptions, a couple thousand yards rushing. I mean, I don't see how his career is a success at this point. He's not a superstar, but he certainly, is not someone to take lightly.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things. He's a bust if you're trying to run an offense that doesn't fit him. Like I think Jalen Hurts would be the same way.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
Hurts would be a bust if you try to run an offense that you have to be all in with a guy like this.
Yeah.
And when you look at Glenn, and we'll talk about rookie minicamp too, talking about Arian Smith, Mason Taylor, dude, Glenn is all in. Like Arian Smith is here to not play every down, to come in on passing downs and take the top off the defense,
Right.
to allow Fields to have more room underneath for Garrett, Mason Taylor, Brees Hall. So you could tell Glenn and Engstrand are all in on the Fields offense, where they're going to be running the hell out of the ball.
Right. And, less, spread out for receivers with a tight end in there or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
Who's number 2 receiver right now?
Dude, I just did something on this. We gotta chat about this one.
Actually, people were asking me, and I wasn't sure. I guess I was thinking Reynolds. Wait a second, hold on. Leave that right there. So last year we were 5-12.
Yes.
With that team, and you tell me we can't win one more game to cover that.
I know. The odds are, the odds are. Here's the depth chart. So the depth chart, it has 11 personnel, like every depth chart. It has Wilson, Lazard, and Reynolds as the starters, but dude, the receiver 2, there is no receiver 2, and there won't be. And I think it's by design, because I think Lazard, Reynolds, Corley, Gibson, Johnson, Arian Smith are all going to be rotating. You got Lazard and Reynolds who could block. You got Arian Smith, who's the deep threat jet motion. You got Tyler Johnson, who's the route runner. So I think each of these guys brings a specific thing to the table, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Gadget guy. Corley can block. Corley can run after. Yeah, like you said, they might be the biggest household names, but these guys all have played for a while, and done well. It doesn't look fancy when you look at this. You know what I mean? But that O-line looks good right there.
The O-line looks good, and the rotating of the receivers, Detroit does it too. Like, I know they got St. Brown. He always plays. You got Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is not in there every down. He comes in, on passing downs. They had Reynolds before he went to Denver. They rotate. And, the negative for fans is, okay, you're going to tip your hand and let the defense know that a rush is coming because you got your run blockers in there at receiver. Not necessarily. It's a great bluff as well. So that's the modern league, man. That's it. There are no Wayne Chrebets out there.
The Aaron Smith kid, I wouldn't be surprised if he averages up there, 17, 18, whatever yards a catch.
Yeah.
On what he does.
Yeah, he's dude, he's fast.
So Lazard took a pay cut to stay there.
Lazard, and there's still talk. They might ship him there, but I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Let's look at the defense real quick.
So, I mean, here to me, this is the biggest question mark. The interior: Nandi, Quinnen, Cowart, Leonard Taylor, Tufele. Tufele, maybe he is a pleasant surprise, but there's not a lot of beef in there. But if Glenn and his coaches get through to the interior D line in terms of how they want to teach read and react instead of gap, going all crazy with gap, shooting the gaps, it could be okay.
So we picked up the 5th-year option on our big 3, right? With Garrett and Sauce and Jermaine.
Garrett and Sauce for sure. Jermaine, I'm not sure about Jermaine. The fans will know. They'll comment.
So you get linebackers. So the other corner would be Brandon Stevens. Who's the kid we picked up from Alabama, DB?
Malachi Moore.
Yeah.
We
got rid of my MVP. We got rid of Morstead.
Yes, you saw that?
Yeah.
Yep, Morstead's gone.
Yes, Jermaine was picked up.
It was picked up? Okay. I missed that one.
And people, what about Rutgers for all? People are asking, do you think they'll go 2 tight ends with him and Taylor, or who's the third guy?
I think Rucker they're gonna play a lot of 12 personnel, and Rucker's gonna be, as long as Rucker gets his blocking back to where he normally is, and he's usually a good run blocker, but graded terribly last year.
Yeah.
And I think it dealt with coaching more and no concept of what they wanted to do.
Right.
I think he'll be tight end too, and then Stone Smart will be the third tight end.
Well, if you can't do it with the system, this is going to be as a tight end. Um, if you can block, you're going to be in there. But nobody's going to go out there and have 100 something catch. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not that kind of offense.
No, it's Mason Taylor or Brees, I think, will be number 2
Okay.
in targets.
All right,
I
let me see
mean,
the special teams real quick. I want to see you.
special teams.
Greg the Leg still there? No.
Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg doesn't great. Well, he's technically still on the roster, and we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
All right. I just want to see that. But listen, all in all, like you said, it could be worse. If people didn't see, they could go back, like and subscribe and all that stuff. But take a look at the Giants' schedule compared to ours. You'd be happy about that one. Like I said, we're putting our options in there to keep the guys we like, the young guys.
Yep.
Had some good signings. I thought we had a good draft. Got some day one starters in the draft. So all in all, I say this every year. I mean, we need some more pieces. Guys get cut during training camp, salary cap kind of thing. But hopefully, one or two of these guys that when they get on the field with the vets can show up and somebody you can count on later on. But you won't know until they get on the field and throw the pads on.
Yes. And and you won't know until you see these guys coach. And if they're the real deal, guess what? You have a football team.
Yeah, and so Mason Taylor is wearing Wesley Walker's number 85.
Yeah. So did you hear about this? He came out on day 1 wearing 46.
I saw that.
And fans went nuts. Like 46. This is just grotesque. This is disgusting.
Sounds like a long snapper's number.
Yeah, yeah. And then the next day he shows up with good old Wesley's number, 85.
Yeah, weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And by the way, after that first day, who was it? Someone asked him, Antoine maybe from Daily News, asked him why 46, and his response was, "That's just the number they gave me. I'm here to play football. I don't care." Basically, that's what he said. I just don't care.
You know what though? I hope he understands what the number 85 means to the Jets family, Jets fans.
Mm-hmm.
Tough to do justice, but I think he's gonna have a great first year. But whenever I see 85, obviously I'm just gonna think of Wesley.
Yeah.
All the time. But hopefully this kid can live up to a little bit. But like I said, all great things they're saying about him, and day one he's gonna be in there catching, throwing passes. So if these are the kind of things you're hearing after the fact of the draft, it seems like our first 2 picks are pretty good.
Yeah, all these kids, to your point, all these kids are workmanlike. They're, they're all business. They take it seriously, and they get after it. And Mason Taylor is no different. Like here's speaking of the great Wesley Walker, here he is.
Yeah, they look at his yards per catch. All honors, yeah.
Yeah, his yards per catch. How many deep shots? Look at that, 19
yards per catch.
Long of 96. Yeah. Yes.
There's some people. Oh yeah, dude. Even in year 8, he had a 96-yard touchdown. 83-yard touchdown.
Yeah, he was a monster, dude. He was and he missed some games too. Like 82, he missed half the season. 79.
He had 48 catches for 1100. He averaged 24.4 yards catch. And 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns.
That's insane. Geez. Richard Todd and then Kenny O'Brien played with both.
All right, we're good to go down memory lane. But let's. This is what we have for the schedule. I'm happy with it. I like where our bye is. I like how it's set up. Like starting at home 2 games, but it's just one little piece of the puzzle. Like you said, you're not going to be playing 6 night games because the schedule gets all messed up. You want to get in a rhythm, play Sunday, off day Monday, film Monday, off Tuesday. I mean, you get back into that routine. It kind of helps.
Yeah, I think it's solid. I mean, it's a schedule they could work with. It's not like a few years ago, they had a gauntlet the first 5 or 6 weeks, I remember, a couple of years in a row, and it was just brutal. It was like the Giants this year.
Right.
And this one's not that. It's definitely not that.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But everybody, thanks for coming in. I know we got a lot of good questions, a lot of guessing on what our record would be. It seems like everybody's around the 8-9 mark.
That's where I am right now.
Yeah,
Except for Vegas. Vegas has 5.5.
I might have to go to Vegas.
Yeah. All right. But hey, folks, discount code 80 at Jets X Factor, and like and share this video, all that good stuff. All right, Wayne. Later.